What's up, you guys? This is Zay Brooks, and this is episode 7 of a show that I do not know the title to yet. Today, we will be talking about selling and how to make a sale in general, not just by selling product, but selling value towards your employer, selling friendship, selling a relationship towards things or people that you desire to be in your life. But there has to be some sort of physical equivalent, right? You can't just wish upon a star and hope that this girlfriend that you're manifesting, or this job that you really want, or this group of friends or community that you're looking for, they won't just appear out of thin air. If anything, God will bless you with the opportunity to chase something like that. You have to have a burning desire and unwavering faith that God will make this, make the reality that you search for, the physical equivalent will sooner or later become inevitable to take place. And so I had a little bit of experience prior. I know in the last episode I was talking about networking. Networking is ultimately creating a situation that will benefit both you and the person that you're networking with. And a lot of those times it ends up in a sale. Sometimes naturally you end up speaking the same language and you can create value without having that, not awkward, but that conversation where it's like, hey, let's exchange information, let's exchange ideas, let's exchange work for each other to create value in each other's lives and whatever endeavor it is that we choose to be in, whether we're in the same industry or we're doing two completely different things. Ultimately, that comes down to a selling point where it's like, hey, I have this idea, I'd love to provide this for you, and in return, you'd provide this for me. The difference between that being transactional, because sometimes people will think transactional is manipulative, it's the intention. At the end of the day, I am trying to learn something from somebody while providing value to them. There's a physical equivalent there. Transaction is, oh, I don't really care about you. I'm not authentic. I'm not genuine. I'm going to do this for you, and you're going to do this for me, and we're going to call it that. Wash our hands, and I don't know you. That's transactional. Networking is something that builds relationships. A lot of things that have came to me in my life through networking, and I've explained this in the last episode, is because of my authentic and genuine energy, asking thought-provoking questions, and even just simply offering to provide work or value to somebody, and the thing that I would have in return is just simply learning from them. A classic example is I've chose to film for really big creators in the past, and just learning from them how they move about things, what to do, what not to do, how to compose yourself when being in front of a camera. That was the value that they provided, which they didn't even know they did. And all I did was ask to just help them for free be a part of their journey. But at the end of the day, that was an easy sell because all I was doing was really doing something for them, but at the same time, what I was receiving was learning from them. You see what I mean? Sometimes things are an easier sell. Sometimes things are a lot harder. In the last episode, I had explained how one of my mentors who lives in Vegas, he is a CEO of a company. And so my ability to sell nostalgia for him in his young life as an entrepreneur, helping out somebody who he sees as himself, that was a little bit of a harder sale because I didn't have that much time to provide value, and I didn't have that much time to come up with I didn't have the opportunity. Like who knows when that would have came up again, where I was in the same spot with the CEO of a very successful company, and I get to ask him to be my mentor. There's a lot of pressure riding on that. I could have easily just folded and been like, you know what, I'll ask him when I see him again, or maybe this or maybe that. But I took the opportunity which was in front of me. Even though I was at a club in Las Vegas, I knew that was my moment to ask him thought-provoking questions and ultimately gain his friendship and mentorship in my life and career as an entrepreneur. So that's basically what we're talking about today, is how to sell. A lot of things in life, not everything, but a lot of things in life are a sale all on its own. So knowing when to, how to, and how to pivot, and all those things is what I'd like to talk about today. And I just want to say this really quick. That doesn't, me saying these things is not the objective truth. It doesn't make me better than the next man. I'm just telling you guys what goes on in my mind. That's why I created something like this. I had realized the last episode that I had made that I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm not here to make myself seem like this whatever. I think one of the most important things is to provide mentorship to maybe a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kid who doesn't have a mentor right now. I think that's a great place for me to step in for the time being and have them listen to things that I've been through as a 27-year-old entrepreneur. And I'm nowhere near towards the end of my journey. I feel like a lot of the times people will listen to somebody when they've made it. But not a lot of people talk about what they've learned and what to do and what not to do when they're in the chase, when I haven't made it quite just yet. Am I chasing my dream and in a certain sense accomplishing it every day, which is my chief definite aim was getting paid to be me? Am I doing that right now? Yes. I'm super thankful and I'm proud of how far I've came, but there's a level of paranoia you need to have where you're content and you have gratitude for the life and the journey that you're in right now, but you're just at the same time curious and hungry for so much more. That sense of paranoia is valuable. To know, hey, I have came this far. I'm thankful, but man, there's more I want to do. I want to reach financial freedom. I'm getting paid to be me, but when can I get to a point where I'll never look at my bank account again? I have so many flourishing assets that I have different streams of income, and I can just wake up and take a deep breath and be like, I don't have to worry about money anymore. That burning desire for that. That's what keeps me going. So anyways, that's what we're talking about today. Need to grab my paper. Yesterday I was super fired up with the episode on networking, and I feel like sales goes hand in hand. So that's definitely something I wanted to talk about. Yes. So the first thing I want to say is your limitations that you have in your mind can stop you from selling. Selling whatever it is, whether you're offering being a place where, like I said, networking. Can you create that level of nostalgia with a successful CEO or entrepreneur where he sees himself in you and wants to provide that mentorship? Like, that's selling something there. Selling something to friends or business partners. A lot of the limitations that you place in your own mind, for me, right? Like I keep making this example with the CEO. Imagine in my head, I would have been like, man, he doesn't have any time for me. I'm just a content creator that only has X, Y, and Z. Like he'd never listen to me. And it's like my limitations stop me from even, like I self-sabotage my own opportunity to potentially sell to this person, receive mentorship, receive guidance, receive help. I could have psyched myself out and created limitations where, man, I'm in this spot. I'm just creating an example with you. Let's say you do music and somehow you're in the room with Jack Harlow and you go up to him and it's like you have that opportunity to potentially shoot your shot and say something like, I'd love guidance, whatever it is that you may say. But the point I'm trying to make right now is you'll have limitations in your head where, oh, he doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't think I'm anybody. And sure enough, you don't do anything about it. When it's like, why not take that shot? That is sales in essence. You're shooting your shot to see what can happen over and over again. And that takes me to my next point, right? I did sales for about a year before I decided to become a full-time entrepreneur. And I'm super thankful that I did that because it taught me how to sell. So what I sold in a nutshell is software. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but I basically sold software to companies to help better communication internally. And so the first thing that you did was create a chief definite aim. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to sell software to these sorts of companies, right? Do I have a burning desire to do that? Yes. I mean, I was getting paid close to $100,000 first job out of college to do something like that. So there was the burning desire. Now, the issue with unwavering faith, did I have that? To be honest with you, I didn't really believe in the product. And so I think that was one of the big reasons as to why I didn't work for that company for long. But in any case, this is the point of what I'm trying to say about what it takes to be a salesman. So the first thing that you do is once you decide your chief definite aim, which was to sell software to certain companies, you did this thing called prospecting. So they gave you an account list of all these accounts. It was like anywhere from 150 to 200 accounts. And what you would do is you would go into each company and look at persons of interest that you think would be willing and open to talk about you presenting software to them in a meeting where you'd bring your account executive and you would create a meeting and you basically start the sales pipeline. That was my job. And so you go out, you have an account list, and then you'd find people, for example, the VP of communications, let's just make it easy. That was like one of the star people that I'd look for. And so I have it right here. Once you had this person that you had in mind, the persistence was what got you through the door and got you your sale. It's not persistence where sometimes it ends up this way, and that's not fair, and that's why I didn't really like the sales job in the first place, is you would push even when they told you no. And I'll make the analogy here in a second, just bear with me. When you decided to have persistence, a lot of the times it took not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 emails, not 5 calls, but finally they decided to take that meeting with you without realizing the value that you will provide them. And I think that's super important when talking about sales is sometimes let's say, you're a gamer and you want to get in contact with one of the biggest gamers in the world. You play Smash Bros. And you want to talk to a Nintendo Smash Bros. Pro. And you DM them one time on Instagram, right? You email them one time on their email. It's rare that a sale will happen like that. That's almost luck in a sense. Your persistence is what's the difference maker. I'm not saying to spam them and make them uncomfortable when you see them and lose your mind when the opportunity comes. What I'm saying is the persistence in selling something, it's not going to take the first time. For example, there's an opportunity that I have where this really big company that does sports, they want me to be a part of their videos, and they had reached out and expressed interest, and then I reciprocated it, but I heard no response. So what do? I get persistent and I keep hitting the points of contact about being not only an individual for that episode, but for other endeavors that they may have. Because of the persistence, they sat me down instantly, and they saw the value in me to where not only am I working on this upcoming project, which I can't speak too much about, but there are more opportunities in the future just because of my persistence. Persistence is selling. Trying one time doing anything won't be beneficial, and if it is, don't expect that to happen over and over, because that's more often luck than it is the physical equivalent, which is like your hard work paying off, right? So in any case, that was my sales process, from getting the accounts to finding the people to emailing them, talking to them on the phone consistently, and finally landing that meeting with the person of interest to then sell them software and provide value, right? And so the same analogy I'm trying to make is in our lives, right? Let's say right now, let's just make it easy because I know this the most. I close my eyes, I'm 18, 19 years old, and I say, I want to be a content creator, I want to make videos. First, I try to find out what kind of videos I want to make. What's my chief definite aim? What do I want to be? Do I want to make gambling videos? Not a good idea. Do I want to make spiritual or religious or basketball, football, baseball? Do I want to give takes like Stephen A. Smith? Do I want to do video games? Do I want to do cooking? You have to figure out what that is. Next, the very next thing I would do is try to find a mentor in the space while consistently working hard. So that wouldn't be the first thing I do before I start making videos. I would try my hand at making videos for some time. During that time, you would try to find a mentor, show them your videos, ask for guidance, ask for advice, ask what they would do in this stage, and then see if you can make them your mentor. And that goes back to what I'm saying. My chief definite aim was to sell software. So I found companies that would be suitable to take on software like mine. So if I'm a content creator and let's say I decide to do sports takes like Stephen A. Smith, I would try to find as many announcers or as many people who make takes, as many as possible on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter. If I see them in front of, let's say I live in Philly. If I see them in front of the 76ers arena, I'm going to go and make an effort constantly to find a potential mentor. And keep shooting my shot time and time again. That's your account list. Those are the persons of interest that you're trying to sell reciprocal value, whether that means, hey man, let's say it's some creator and you're like, hey man, I want to film for you. I want to write questions for you. I want to, ESPN, let's say you somehow get in contact with ESPN. Yo, I want to work with you guys for free. I want to be an intern. Teach me the ins and outs. What is the reciprocated value? Do you get any money from that? No, but you learn what it takes to work in ESPN. You learn what it takes right under this creator who does the exact same thing you're trying to do. They're just a little bit higher, right? That's the account list and the prospecting that I'm talking about. The amount of people I'd prospect daily at my job was anywhere from like probably 100 to 200 people a day. And then you're calling all those people, you're emailing them, you're on top of it. Like, if you really want to get what you want, it's a mixture of letting go and letting God and giving your best every single day, pushing and having a burning desire of your chief definite aim. You have to push for what you want. Is that infringing on people's rights? And, I see Stephen A. Smith and I come up to him like a madman and say, oh, can you help me with, no, you're not desperate, right? You're not desperate for it. You know that it's coming. You just are a huge opportunist, seeking out these moments, keeping your ear to the ground and seeing what's right in front of you, being willing to not have any limitations and go shoot your shot. I knew that when I had met the mentor I had in Vegas, I knew that I wanted to grow in business. I wanted to learn how to get paid to be me. I wanted to learn how to be an entrepreneur. That was somebody, although he wasn't in my industry, that was somebody I could learn from. Therefore, I chose to shot my shot right then and there. And that's another point. Yeah, you may want to be a basketball guy that gives takes or a sports guy that gives takes, but sometimes you might learn something from other people who aren't even in your industry. The amount of networking that I have with people and even creators or businessmen or entrepreneurs that are above me, having your network in any sort of endeavor, any industry, having somebody who knows a guy and you just get so big, you can learn a lot of things. Like me as a content creator, I can learn something from an actor, right? I can learn something from a model. I can learn something from a photographer, a videographer, professional athletes, voice actors. There's so much that I can learn from other than me being, my current job right now is being a content creator doing trivia, whether it's sports trivia or anime trivia, music trivia. I can learn a lot from other people. And so now you're like, man, Zay, this is a little overwhelming. Not only are you telling me there's different persons of interest in your industry that I need to attack, but there's also other people in other industries that I can learn from. How do I do that? How do I prospect? How do I manage? Well, first off, I think you take a deep breath and you let go and understand that God has you covered. You make a chief definite aim knowing exactly what it is that you want, and then allow God to create those opportunities for you. God is a gap filler. God isn't a genie. You don't just wish that this person from this place, from ESPN, comes out of nowhere and grants you this and that. No, it's not how it works. He's going to give you an opportunity to provide value to somebody that's higher than you, whether it's in a different industry or the same industry, and you have to be able to quickly sell whatever it is that you're trying to offer, even if it's just nostalgia and showing this person of interest that, man, I used to be that young, hungry kid like him. He's just starting out. Man, I wish I knew these things when I was starting out. Here, little bro, let me help you out with this. X, Y, Z, A, B, C. This can help you in your journey. It's like those are all things that you can sell. Those are all things that you can provide value with. Like I said in the last episode, networking is cyclical. Everybody was at this position where they just started. A lot of people fail out. A lot of people end up not doing what it is that they want to do, but the people that end up making it, they want to give and show love the same way that they either did when they were at the bottom or they wish they had when they were at the bottom. That's why networking is so cyclical. I feel confident in my abilities, that I'll make it to wherever it is that I want to go as an entrepreneur, but when the time comes, I know that I'll be impressed by the young, hungry kid who comes up to me and asks me for advice, asks me for mentorship. Right? Because I was once in that place. That's what's the powerful part about it. Let me keep going. And I guess I already mentioned this, but the first time will not always be successful. Sometimes it takes a couple of messages. It takes a couple of emails. It takes, even I've had mentors before where I'm just saying, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. And it's genuine and it's authentic. Like I genuinely hope that they're having a good time with their family on the holidays and it is their birthday. I hope it's a great day for them. But those moments that I show, hey, I actually care about what you got going on, those open up other moments to ask them questions. And I'm not saying networking or selling is gaining something of monetary value, right? Oh, hey, I said happy birthday and Merry Christmas so that, you can give me money or you can give me this camera or this microphone or all this shit. No, that's the last thing that you're looking for is a handout. That's not what you're looking for. A lot of the times, things are intangible that you're trying to gain. For example, right? Let's say right now you're like, oh, I don't really care about whatever he's saying. You would go and pay Mark Cuban thousands of dollars for a lunch with him to learn something that I could get for free if I figured out and managed a way to network into somebody who knows Mark Cuban who can bless me with that lunch for free through networking and providing value. Like, do you understand what I'm trying to say? You can not listen to me, totally. And there are ways that you can buy intangible assets. But then at that point, you become the buyer, he becomes the seller. I hope this is all making sense to you guys, and I hope it resonates with you. Even if it doesn't resonate with content creation or being an entrepreneur, some place in your life, I hope that it's resonating with you and what I'm trying to say in terms of selling. Everybody thinks selling means, oh, I just sold these Pokemon cards, or I sold this vending machine for money, and now I have more money. No. Intangible assets, knowledge you can gain, experience that you can hear from somebody else, those are things that will help you in the long run. Those, to me, are more valuable than money. And I will say this really quick. If it's hard for you to do what I'm saying in the last episode about networking and right now about selling, there are free mentors right now in books. Napoleon Hill, Dale Carnegie, Don Miguel Ruiz, Eckhart Tolle, Dr. Norman Vincent Peale and the Power of Positive Thinking. Sorry if I butchered his name. There are so many books for you to read and find free mentors, people who made it their life's work to give people like you game. And I'm one of those people. Last year I read 15 self-help books. I know I explained that in the last episode. That's not to say, oh, look at me. It's just saying I know that there are free resources for me where I don't have to sell, I don't have to network, and I get to talk to some of the greatest minds in business. I mean, what a phenomenal trade-off where it's almost like there is no physical equivalent. I guess the physical equivalent is me going out and buying their book, and they receive monetary gain from me wanting to learn more about their experience. Michael A. Singer, another example of an author. I digress. But that's another great place. And I guess it's outside of selling and outside of networking. Those are free mentors to have based on the books that you read. Pretty powerful stuff. Yeah. So let's say that you get in a position where you end up networking, you end up selling, you get it, whatever it is that you want. Sometimes you have to eat shit for a couple of months, even for a couple of years, and the amount of value that you can learn from that is so important. Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the first books I read when I became an entrepreneur, he basically explained it's okay to work a job as long as you learn. Don't work for money, work to learn, work to develop intangible assets, work to find yourself right next to this mogul, whoever owns the business or whatever it is that you work for. Work to gain knowledge, work to gain those intangible assets. That's super important. Sometimes you have to eat shit for a little bit. Sometimes you have to be the guy who runs and goes and gets coffee. Sometimes you have to be the guy who adheres to everyone else. Sometimes you have to deal with the shitty boss. But How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. One of the only times I'm going to say something like this, I know I said it last episode, sometimes you have to deal with that in order to get to places of higher vibration, higher existence. Not everyone is meant to go far, but everyone is meant to start somewhere. And that's super important. What are we at right now? 24 minutes. Oh, wow. Time be flying with you guys, man. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, so one thing, and then we'll do the meditation. And this is something that may not even be close to what I'm talking about today, but desperate marketing, right? I know you guys have experienced this before where somebody's selling a t-shirt or they're selling something, who knows what it is, and they go, hey, if you're my boy, you'll buy my product. If you're my boy, then you'll take my class, or whatever it is that they're selling. I know we've all experienced that before. Your biggest fans, your biggest customers, people that support you unconditionally, a lot of those people have no idea who you are. In the Bible, it even talks about if you want to be a person of interest that, I don't want to butcher this the wrong way, but if you want to become a prophet or somebody that really reaches the maximum of providing value and glorifying God's name, you have to leave your hometown. A lot of your friends and your family won't believe you. They won't believe in you. Maybe I put the verses right up here for you guys, but they basically explain if you want to be who you know you can be, sometimes it is best to leave your hometown in an analogy sense. The people that are closest to you may not show that same unconditional support like these random people who just come out of the woodworks to support you. I've experienced that in my own life, and that's not to knock any of my friends or family, but some of my biggest fans, some people that watch all my videos, including this one, including the ones I've had before when I was a streamer and doing TikTok in 2020, and all my trivia videos, like, those are people that live on the other side of the country that don't even really know who I am for real. They just know me as the content creator and any value that I provide in their life, whether that's me making them laugh, making them feel good, making them feel entertained at the end of the day. Your biggest fans and your biggest supporters don't even know you. So don't fall for the desperate marketing trap. Don't be that person. Just take a deep breath and know you have this burning desire, whether it's to sell clothes, to be a content creator, have the burning desire for it, and have unwavering faith that the community will show up. Your success will inevitably reach its physical equivalent. And I say that all the time, and that might sound like a broken record, but that's probably the most important thing that I want you to understand, is that you're probably not going in any direction because you don't know what direction to go in. God doesn't even know how to help you. Got to figure out what it is that you want. Okay, so now we are going to do a guided meditation, and I hope that this provides something for you, whether it's peace, positivity, something. I just think it's great to figure out a way to slow down and have a moment to yourself in your own mind, because that is the only place that you can perceive reality, is in your own mind. You can't experience it anywhere else, right? So what I'm going to have you guys do is find a place on the couch, on the ground, on your bed, somewhere. And what I want you to do is close your eyes, take a deep breath. We're going to do that 2 more times here. One more time. And now what I want you to do is visualize somebody coming up to you and saying, if you could not fail, what would you choose to do? Now you start visualizing what that would look like. If I couldn't fail, what would I do? Now you start thinking about it. Whether it's you want to be a famous chef, you want to be a nurse, a content creator, a business owner, whatever it is, you start to visualize that. And you think, man, if I couldn't fail, it's a no-brainer. I'd want to do this for the rest of my life. It's a no-brainer. Then you start to feel, keep your eyes closed for me, you start to feel a sense of weightlessness, like there's nothing weighing you down. Somebody just told you, whatever you do, you won't fail. And now you feel like you can do anything. Now you feel like it's a walk in the park. It's almost too easy. But who's to say we can't create that right now? Who's to say that I can't say that to myself right now? If I'm the co-creator of my reality with God, then why can't I feel like that right now? What's stopping me? Now you start to think of the limitations. Oh, well, I can't do it if this doesn't happen, or I don't have this skill, or I don't know this person, so I don't think I could ever. Boom. Limitations. That's what's stopping you from even having the opportunity to get whatever it is that you desire. That's what it takes. Letting go of your limitations is the first step to even having a chance at getting these things that you realize, the tip top of what it looks like with your career, doing something where no matter what it is, you wouldn't fail. It's your limitations that creep in and self-sabotage you from even having a chance. Do I, Zay Brooks, know if X, Y, or Z is going to happen for you? No. Anything and everything is possible. But what I do know is you don't even give yourself a chance to try because of the limitations you set in your mind. Figure out a way, create a practice to let go of those limitations. Exist in the present moment. You can achieve anything that you want. Truly, anything and everything is possible. You just have to take that first step. It will be uncomfortable, it will be hard, it will be difficult, of all those things, but it's a physical equivalent. How could you expect to make it somewhere nowhere else has made it if you didn't put in more work than anyone else has put in? The universe works in a physical equivalent. What you visualize can be yours. I'm not kidding. I promise you. Okay, you can open up your eyes now. Try not to say the same things over and over again. I just feel like it happens sometimes. I also don't want the guided meditations to be so like ambitious. Like, I think sometimes I can do the guided meditations where you're just taking a moment to recognize how thankful you are for things and how everything happens for a reason and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I think I'll start incorporating those in more. I feel like sometimes I can be overly ambitious, trying to always visualize and focus on what's next. I can do it. When sometimes it's good to just enjoy the roses or enjoy the garden, smell the roses, or whatever the saying is, and take in everything that's going on, you know. Again, I'm hoping I'm providing some sort of value to you guys. I don't think my truth is the objective truth. This is just my anecdotal experience from what I've seen. And I hope, if anything, I can create thought-provoking concepts and things that people will resonate with in any sort of endeavor in their life. Not just business, not just entrepreneurship, with their family, friends, school, whatever it is. I hope I'm able to provide even just a little bit of value to a couple of people. So, appreciate you guys for sticking with me, man. I do have an email if you guys want to do any questions, comments, concerns, stories, whatever. If you just want to speak your mind, it'll be in the description. It's nochurchinthewildanon@gmail.com. All right. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow, or I'll see you whenever I decide to post again. So, thank you guys. You be good, man. Life is good. Life is truly, truly good. All right.